Hello everyone, it's Laura Levine with Jumpstart's May edition of Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to be continuing our conversation about credit reports, which follows our May principle of understanding credit reports. For those of you who joined us a couple of weeks ago on the Tuesday evening Facebook Live, thank you for joining us then. We talked about resources to help you teach young people, your students and your own kids included, about the importance of credit reports. And today, we're going to dive a little deeper into understanding credit reports and how they work. And I'm very excited to introduce our special guest for today, because it's someone that many of you know. It's someone who is not only an expert in credit and credit reporting, but it's a member of the Jumpstart family. And so here with me today is Bill Cheeks, who is our Regional Director of State Coalitions on the eastern half of the country. He came to us many years ago after a long distinguished career with Equifax. And today, in addition to consulting with Jumpstart, he also works in many financial capacities, including in the credit reporting world and working with Experian. And so Bill's biography is on our website. I think Heather's going to post it live for anyone who wants to learn more about him, but I am guessing that you'd rather hear from him and hear what he has to say about credit reports. And so with that, it is my pleasure to welcome Bill Cheeks.
Thank you, Laura. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to be here this afternoon to talk to you about something that's a part of my life. As a matter of fact, my son calls me the credit man. And he said, you really must have a good credit report if you live in the household of the credit man. I also enjoy all of the time going into schools and talking with both students and teachers about credit. So today we're going to just talk about the basics of credit initially, as far as the credit report and credit score, and then we're going to do a little deeper dive into understanding the credit report, how it's developed, as well as the credit score, the companies that provide them, the companies that provide the scores, and just a little bit on some new things that are going on within the credit reporting industry. When I talk to students and I go to classrooms, I tell them the credit report is like their report card. And for the teachers on the line that's watching this, I sort of tell them this. There's the A+ grade, there's the A-, there's the B, the C, the D, and they get that. And then I tell them the score is when you round it off 4.0, 4.6. I just reviewed some students and everything. That's really the scoring part of the credit score. But here is what's happening as far as developing the credit report. Whenever a person goes and applies for credit, and they get the credit, that's really where the credit report starts, and then those creditors report your information on a monthly basis normally. Then the credit scoring part of it is when you have several credit lines, and it then is going to look at 5 different areas based on the FICO score. And the FICO breaks it down: paying bills on time, your debt, how long you've had credit, your mix of credit, and if you're applying for new credit. I'll get into a little more details there, but I want to back back up to the credit report again. Unfortunately, only about 30% of people or less actually look at their credit report. And this is really a problem because the credit report is free. Now, where do you go to get the credit report? Here it is.
Oh, look at that.
annualcreditreport.com, and Heather is going to provide you with the link to that. But I just went out on the link and it is working, so you can go there and get a copy of your credit report. But I want you to do this for me. January or February of each year, go out to annualcreditreport.com and pull one of your credit reports. That's whether it's with Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion. Then go back again, May or June, pull your second copy of your credit report with one of the other agencies, and then in September or October, go and pull it again with the last agency. That way you're looking at your credit report 3 times a year, and know that you are the one that really needs to make sure your credit report is correct. I'm going to give you a quick example here. I was talking to a lady and she said, "Bill, I haven't looked at my credit report because I know it's bad." I said, "How do you know it's bad?" She said, "I just know it's bad." So I said, "Do me a favor, go to annualcreditreport.com and pull your credit report." She did that, and guess what? Her credit report wasn't bad. She didn't have one because she hadn't done anything in 10 years. So it is important to pull your credit report and really know what's in your credit report. And again, I want to give you 5 companies. One is Experian, and you should see some information on them, but they are at www.experian.com. That's the largest of the 3 credit reporting agencies. Then there's Equifax. It's www.equifax.com. And then finally, TransUnion, www.transunion.com. Those are the 3 major credit reporting agencies. And then I want to give you 2 more companies.
And before you do, let me just remind them that the 3 major credit reporting bureaus are all Jumpstart partners, and so very invested in financial education.
They are, and she just beat me to the point
Sorry.
of telling you that. And then the 2 credit scoring agencies, the largest is FICO, F-I-C-O. That's for many of you who may remember, they were formerly known as Fair Isaac, and the original credit scoring company. And then there is one that I don't know how many years ago was started, but it's Vantage Score. And in order to look at FICO information, www.myfico.com, and then www.vantagescore.com. Those are the agencies. Laura, is there anything else you want me to cover on credit reports, credit scores?
Yes. So, one of the things, and I was just going to comment as you were suggesting that people take, 3 different times of the year. One of the things that I heard someone suggest is married couples who have a lot of joint credit apply, for the husband's credit report and then the wife's and the husband's, and it because they're not identical. But if you have a lot of joint credit, it's close enough in that you will kind of see a pattern and really winds up pulling it more often.
Yes, if you are a couple, you each can pull a copy of your credit report once per year, and then there are certain states like Georgia where I am, you can actually get 2 copies of your credit report. That there are several states such as that where you can get copies of your credit report. I want to go again to the credit, go back and talk about credit a little bit more, because there are a lot of companies out here that are advertising on television and even signs on the side of the road and everything. We can fix your credit. I don't want you to call any of those places or go to any of those places. We have another Jumpstart partner, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, www.nfcc.org. You can go to them and they will show you in every state reputable credit counseling agencies that you can go to. But I want to then also segue to another piece. I want to break down a little bit of that credit score for those who are watching. And that is, as I said, the FICO model has 5 areas. The first one is paying your bills. So often, and here's how I relate it to students. I tell students, it's important for you to come to class every day. You're going to miss some things by not coming to class on a daily basis. Same thing in paying your bills. You need to pay your bills on time all of the time. If you want to rebuild your credit, same thing applies. Pay your bills on time all the time. Then that's 35% of your credit score. Then 30% of your credit score is debt. And really a lot of your credit score is measured on credit cards. So don't let anyone tell you, oh, credit cards are bad. Yes, they are bad. If, listen to the if you don't know how to manage them. But if you can manage credit cards, 2 or 3 credit cards are not bad. But here's how you do it. You only charge a small amount on credit cards. You do it on a monthly basis, but here's the key. Pay balance in full on a monthly basis. It's important. You don't need to carry any balances. If you go high balances on credit cards, that does hurt your credit score. The third area is having credit and keeping it, and don't close out credit, because when you close out credit, you hurt your credit score. The first part, paying bills, 35%. The second area, the debt, that's 30%. The third area, 15%, is how long you've had credit. Then the fourth area, 10%, what is your mix of credit? Do you have credit cards? Do you have installment loans? By installment loans, I mean a car note, a furniture note. These are payments that are the same amount every month, but do add up, and it's important to have a good mix. And then finally, please talk to students about this. It's really important, and any other adults, paying bills on time and not applying for new credit. Every time you apply for new credit, I can't tell you how much it will lower your score, but that's 10% of the scoring algorithm that we have here.
I think it's really important, Bill, that people understand the difference between credit and debt. And sometimes informally you hear people mix that up.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. It is, and I also hear people say, well, you don't want to have any debt. You can have debt, but just don't have an enormous amount of debt, and make sure you keep your debt low and that you make sure you pay bills on time. I tell people this, but it's not to ever brag. I get a again from one of our Jumpstart partners. I have an account with them. They give me my credit score on a monthly basis, and your credit score range is 300 to 850 on both FICO and Vantage Score. And last year, 4 times out of the year, I had a perfect 850 credit score. But in December, I purchased a car for my wife, so I don't have that perfect credit score now because of that that purchase. But I am loved by my wife.
We can't blame Miss Barbara.
Okay. All right.
But back to our topic at hand. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's new? Because the credit reporting world continues to evolve.
It really does.
And there's a lot of things that are new. So some of our viewers, like teachers, who actually know quite a bit about credit reporting, may be surprised to learn some of what's going on.
Yes, the credit reporting, believe it or not, everybody thinks, and they are, competitors, but they also work together, and they are doing something now that's really, really great, and that is they are working together to make sure credit reports are really accurate. That's one of the complaints, and they have pulled resources together. They have teams of people who are working together to, they have criteria now for receiving data, and the data must be categorized in such a way and confirmed by the data providers. The same applies as far as collections. Most people don't know that probably about 50% of collections on all 3 of the credit reporting agencies are healthcare related. So they also, you will see changes, and the credit scoring agencies are already putting this into place. The FICO 9 credit score takes into consideration the information, medical collections. The Vantage Score 3.0 takes that into consideration, and Vantage Score is even coming out this fall with what they call the Vantage Score 4.0. So you can see that they are looking at different things, but it's all to help the consumer. One of our leading partners here at Jumpstart, Experian's president of one of their divisions, told us at our April meeting their goal is to have 100% accuracy, and this is one of the things that they are striving to provide for consumers now. But I want to go back to you as a consumer. It is so important for you to make sure your information is accurate and pull your credit report as I have recommended there. But it's really, really important to know also that the credit reporting agencies, all of them are partners with Jumpstart, are really looking out for you. And we have many other partners. For instance, one allows me to go out and do seminars at different Jumpstart conferences, because I speak to teachers, and I hope some of you are teachers who have attended my sessions online at different Jumpstart conferences across the country.
And I think that, just to go back as a reminder, Bill, that when you go to annualcreditreport.com, which credit reports can you get from that one website?
You can get your credit reports from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion from that website. and I recommend during the year that you pull all 3 of the credit reports from that particular website. I do want to give you some information that I hope doesn't alarm you too much, but I talked to you about your credit score and some things that that will harm your credit score. For instance, missing a payment, a 30-day late payment, can drop your credit score anywhere from 60 to 110 points. So it's really important to pay the bills on time. Here are the areas that really hurt your credit score by large numbers. Foreclosures, 85 to 160 points. Bankruptcies, 130 to 240 points. So it's really important not to have those items on your credit report, because it really helps you. I also want to talk a little bit about some things that I do with Jumpstart and also a new coalition to improve credit scores. I work with a number of nonprofits that want to help consumers. There are reputable organizations out there that are really looking at how they can help consumers improve their credit, as well as the 3 credit reporting agencies, and that's why I'm doing a lot of the work on the Hill now to change a law so that these agencies can help you. So I just wanted to mention that, so really be on the lookout as we move forward there. Laura, I know our time is limited, so I want to leave these folks before you give your parting remarks with some tips. Number 1, something we haven't talked about, but in all of my presentations, I start out with this. And I know most people just don't want to hear it. I said, you got to have a budget. And I said, I know you don't like to hear this, but let me change it again. You need a spending plan, okay? Does that make it better, Laura?
It does, and it's surprising how many people say that.
Okay, and you must stick to that budget. You must pay your bills on time, as you saw with the credit score. Have a small amount of debt. It's really important to manage your debt, and as Laura mentioned earlier, that people think no debt, but you can have a small amount of debt. It's just making sure that you maintain and pay it on time. Don't have a lot of open credit. Remember earlier I said 2 or 3 credit cards. I didn't say 15 credit cards. And then on those credit cards, make sure you keep the balances low. Those are just some tips that I recommend to consumers in all of my presentations as I go around the country. Laura, it's really been fun for me to be here today, and I appreciate you being nice and smiling at my comments and everything, and we hope that this has been beneficial to the folks who are viewing on Facebook.
Well, thank you, Bill, and it is easy to smile because this is wonderful information. I hope that the folks who are watching us will, at least one of the takeaways is the importance of your credit report. You know, we're a society that is so focused on being assessed that sometimes we look at the credit score, but as Bill pointed out, the credit report is a tool for you as the consumer. Even if you think you have, a really good or really bad credit, even if you think you know what your credit history looks like, it is a tool for checking accuracy and making sure that everything on there actually belongs to you. So it is a wonderful tool for consumers. even if you don't plan to seek new credit, even if you think you know about what your score is. And so I hope that, and it's always good to hear from you, and we're always delighted to have Bill, because as I mentioned in the beginning, not only is he a member of the Jumpstart family, but a well-recognized across the country as an expert in credit, and very specifically credit reporting. And thank you also for the shout-outs to many of our Jumpstart partners. I think the other takeaway that I got that I enjoyed so much is a reminder that while the 3 credit reporting bureaus, for example, are business competitors, they do invest a lot of time into working together to bring the whole credit reporting industry
Correct.
up. And they put their differences aside just for the
They
good
do.
of the consumers, and especially with that aspect in mind, we're so proud to call them all partners.
Well, very good. And as you said, that I really work with all 3 of the credit reporting agencies and the credit scoring agencies in my role with Jumpstart, and they really want to help consumers. So I encourage everyone, feel free to reach out to them. You have all of their contact information, and it's just so important to emphasize to all people that you meet that the credit reporting agencies are not your enemy. They really want to hear from consumers. Times have changed. I know years ago it wasn't that way, but they have just so much educational material on their websites, and one of the credit reporting agencies even has a service where they have skilled educators that will walk you through your credit report, give you your credit score, and all of that. So it's really important to look at them as a great resource to help you. And Laura, I'm so happy because this is something that's really important to me, that you felt at Jumpstart that this was something you wanted to share on Facebook Live.
Well, thank you, Bill. It is, as I said, it's great having you, and just a wonderful topic and an exciting topic. And I know it's one that we do hear from many of you, our partners and our teachers, that this is the sort of thing that you do want to know a little bit more about. So we were fortunate that Bill was able to join us today. Next month, our Facebook Live sessions will explore financial institutions and financial services providers. So I hope you will join us on Tuesday, June 13th. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern for our evening session, and we'll look a lot at corresponding educational resources. And then again on Thursday, June 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern, when we'll take a deeper dive into understanding financial institutions and providers. So with that, thank you again so much for joining us for Facebook Live. Thank you to you, Bill, for being with us and guiding us through. And thank you to our many credit reporting bureaus and credit scoring agencies and credit counseling providers who really are, as you say, Bill, a tool for consumers.
Yes.
We'll see you next month.
Thank you.